What's up guys, I'm back once again to show you some of the hot mods of the week, and in this week's episode we have a brand new shotgun mod, as well as a few new things from another video game. But to kick things off, in last week's episode we featured 2 modern weapon replacer mods, and in this week's episode we're going to be continuing that theme. Now the first modern weapon replacer that I'm going to be showing you is modern weapon replacer Izhmash SV98. And I featured this weapon all the way back in episode 38, but now we finally have a weapon replacer for it, and what this weapon replacer is going to do is replace vanilla hunting rifles and or lever action rifles with the SV98. And of course, finding one of these weapons with this weapon replacer installed will have all of the parts completely randomized. Now the next replacer I have for you is modern weapon replacer Heckler and Koch Mark 23 SOCOM. Now I've never actually featured this weapon on the channel before, but we're going to be taking a look at the weapon replacer anyway. And what this mod is going to do is replace all of the 10mm pistols and or the deliverer with the Mark 23. And just like the previous replacer, all of the parts will be completely randomized. And the next weapon replacer that I have for you is modern weapon replacer Mossberg 500. And what this mod is going to do is replace all vanilla combat shotguns and or double barrel shotguns with the Mossberg 500. And just like the previous mod, all of the parts will be completely randomized. Now up to this point, all of the modern weapon replacers that we've looked at have covered the ballistic weapons, but what about the energy weapons? Well, I've got that covered as well with the modern weapon replacer ep43. And what this mod is going to do is replace all laser guns, institute guns and or laser muskets with the ep43. And just like the previous mod, all of the parts will be completely randomized. Now so far, all of the weapon replacers that we've taken a look at in today's episode have focused on the guns, but what if you wanted to replace something a bit bigger? Say the missile launchers. Well, I have just a mod for you with the modern weapon replacer Cazador missile launcher. And as I've previously mentioned, what this mod is going to do is replace all of the vanilla missile launchers with the Cazador, and just like the previous mod, all of the parts are going to be completely randomized. And the final replacer for this week's episode is modern weapon replacer Gfamas. And if you've been around this channel for very long, you'll know that the Gfamas is one of my favourite weapon mods of all time. So to finally get a weapon replacer mod for it has absolutely made my day. But anyway, what this mod is going to do is replace all vanilla assault rifles, combat rifles, radiant rifles and or submachine guns with the Gfamas. And of course, all of the parts will be completely randomized. Now keeping with the theme of the Gfamas, the next mod I have for you is not a modern weapon replacer, but it is an add-on pack to the Gfamas. And of course, I'm talking about Killzone Pack. And what this mod is going to do is add 4 brand new pieces of clothing, all of which is craftable to chem bench with no perk or crafting material requirements, as well as 2 brand new weapons. The M82, which of course is going to come with 2 receivers, 2 barrels, 3 sights, 4 mags, 2 muzzles, 5 skins, and finally 4 damage options to balance the weapon. Now for what is essentially a Gfamas add-on mod, quite unsurprisingly, the M82 handles very much like a Gfamas. But with that being said, it also doesn't lose any of the fun factor that made the Gfamas one of my favourite weapon mods. But anyway, let's move on to the ep43, and very similarly to the previous weapon, you have a choice of 2 receivers, 2 barrels, 3 sights, 4 mags, 2 muzzles, 4 skins, and finally 4 damage options to balance the weapon. Now just like the previous weapon, the ep43 also feels like a Gfamas, but also doesn't lose any of the fun factor. Now earlier I mentioned that this mod also adds in some new clothing, so let's take a look at that. As you can see, the only thing in my inventory is the 4 pieces of clothing, and I cannot access the armor workbench, so I hope you weren't looking forward to upgrading your armors. Now the very last thing that I want to talk about with this mod is the 3 types of summoning grenades that you can craft. The Hound summoning grenade, the Officer summoning grenade, and the Trooper summoning grenade, all of which will summon a temporary companion to fight by your side for a short amount of time. And of course, this week's weapon mod is the TOZ-194 shotgun, and you can acquire this weapon in one of 3 ways. Firstly, and most typical, you can craft it at a chem lab, or the quickest and easiest option would be the console, which is what I did. Or finally, you can acquire this from any suitable loot source, as it's added straight into the leveled list. And in terms of upgrades, you have the choice of 8 receivers, 2 barrels, an amazing 17 sights, 3 muzzles, 3 left and right side attachments, 2 mag options, 10 lower rail attachments, 4 ammunition types, a choice of rail or no rail, 11 damage options to balance the weapon, and finally, a choice of 10 materials. Now, as shotgun mods go, this is definitely one of the better ones, and it's oh so satisfying to use. Yes, you could one-shot your enemies, but only if the barrel is pointed straight at their chest, or at their head. Throwing in any amount of range really hinders this weapon. It is unapologetically a shotgun, and that is what I love about this weapon. It's just a shotgun, and it doesn't pretend to be anything else. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for this mod, and the video for that matter. I hope you all enjoyed the mods here today, and if you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you all in the next video.